Okay guys, so what we're doing today is the vacuum suction body treatment. You will need your vacuum suction machine, the wire that attaches, make sure it's on the outlet that is for the vac and not for the spray. You will need oil, which will allow the ventouses to move around the body freely and cause slip. In a bowl, you would have lined it with your tissue so that you know that your ventouses are protected. You'll need the large ventouse cup, and you will then need the one below it. Obviously the one below is going to be for the smaller body areas, which are the arms, maybe the shin, the calf, and the large one is for the larger body areas, the upper legs, maybe the back. And basically you would choose them depending on the circumference of the cup. So if you've got a cup with this circumference, it needs to be able to completely cover the area that you're working on. If there's any lift, if it isn't making full contact and there's any lift, the air can get underneath and it's not going to do the vacuum. So that's how you decide what cup to use. So we're starting on front of body, so that's going to be the shin. I'm going to use the smaller cup, and we're going to recognise the fact that the client has a shin bone here, and you're not going to want to take the cup over the top of it. You can take the skin clean off, and it's going to be very uncomfortable. So what we would do is we would go either side. Now some clients are going to be so slim, maybe so tiny, that you're not going to get a suction around the full cup. There are smaller cups, and so you might want to add those in your collection as well. So you're only uncovering the part of the body that you're actually working on today. At the time, because this is a full body, so you'll be working on the whole body throughout this treatment. And then what we're going to first do is get the oil on. We're going to make the oil wall over your trolley, over your tissue, and in your walk stance position, we're going to make sure that we have enough for the cups or the ventouses to glide. You don't want loads because the cup will just keep slipping straight off of them. But you do need enough that the ventouses are not going to drag. Okay, so we're going to do vacuum suction, but before we do that, we always start with a particular move, and that move is, as you know, effleurage. So hip level with the end of the bed, walk stance position, we're going to do 6 effleurages, and we're going to just prepare the area. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is try to get some of the oil off your hands, because you're now going to be using the ventouse, and the ventouse, you don't want it to be too slippery because you'll drop this glass and you'll end up dropping it. So I tried to get some off my hands just to make it a little bit more easier to grasp the ventouse. So we're going to apply your ventouse quite gently. We've got the smaller one because I'm working on the lower leg first. You have got your sheets, so you need to follow the direction on your sheets, which is in the direction of the lymph nodes. So we know the first lymph nodes are the popliteal lymph nodes in the knee, so we know we're going up. So we turn our machine on, and there's just an on button and an up and down button for the amount of suction, and the only amount of suction that goes in this cup is 20%. So no more than 20% of your client's body tissue will be in this cup. We do not cover the whole until the client has this on their skin, and when we get to the end of the area that you're working on, you would then take your finger or your thumb off of that hole so that you do not lift and cause them to have a bruise. So, looking at your sheets, you can see everything is going up. We know that we have to overlap the ventouse by 1 centimetre, so this is continually overlapping. So start from the centre, thumb off, Then cover, make sure the wire isn't touching your client, and I'm testing to see if I've got 20% in my cup. So cover the hole, and at some point you must see what 20% is, so you'll need to be in a position where you can see 20%. Okay, now on every part of the body you're changing this because it will not be the same. You can stretch the skin from behind, or you can stretch the skin as you go. If you stretch the skin as you go, it is easier because it flows better. To the end, remove your finger and back. Cover 20%, make sure it hasn't changed. To the end, remove your finger and back. We're going to completely avoid the shin. 20%. Yeah, for this side of the room. Stretch the skin as you go. Release and back. I've overlapped by 1 centimetre on every single one, and the tube has not touched my client's skin. So that's one set. You're going to do between 5 and 8. So you would now come back and do your second set. Overlap, cover the hole, stretch as you go, come back, cover the hole, stretch as you go. Okay, so there is another way of releasing this. If you're having trouble moving your index finger on and off of this hole, you can just break contact. So I'll show you up here. You would have contact like that. If you press and release the contact at the bottom, then it releases the air. I find that more awkward, to be honest, because I have no trouble lifting my index finger on and off. But if you do, that is an acceptable way of releasing the pressure. Okay, so we're now coming to the upper leg. We're working towards the nearest lymph nodes. There's more tissue on the upper leg than there is on the lower leg. So check that you've got 20% again. You may need to take this down. Right, can you now see the amount that I've got in there? On the top here, it's far less than your inner thigh, where I've got something like 40%. If I carried on the inner thigh with 40% of tissue in my cup, she's going to have bruises all the way up her leg. So you adjust. So for the inner thigh, it goes down a little bit, cover the hole, 20%, and we're working again. Keep the wire off your client if you can, stretch as you go, release, back, overlap by 1 centimetre, all the way up, release, back, 1 centimetre overlap, all the way up, and then once again, when you've covered the whole area, you're going to be starting again, 5 to 8 times round. Now, assuming that we've now done the whole leg at least 5 times, make sure that you take your ventouse off of your wire, secure it safely in your bowl to place your wire to finish with your 6 full effleurage. So we would now just calm the area back down with our effleurages. So 6 at the beginning and 6 at the end. So we would cover that leg, uncover the other leg, you'd move your machine closer to you, so that would go round with you. So I suggest that we leave a space at the top of the bed wide enough for your trolley to go round. Otherwise you're going to be unplugging it and plugging it back in every time you move it. Whereas if you can just slide it round the top of the bed and round, then it's going to be where you need it to do the rest of the body. So the first part then of the routine for vacuum suction body is front of legs, and the next video is going to cover the stomach area.